Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. We are here in Azizla in front of Ardashir and Gerald to continue crafting our Heavensward Relic Weapon, or also known as Anima Weapon. Finding your voice. Yes, I get a weapon as a monk. Hyperconductive stuff. We have made remarkable progress, Desiree, but our work is far from over. If we are to create a truly free-thinking weapon, we must empower the Anima to do more than utter a few unintelligible words to its wielder. Moreover, it must be encouraged to recognize you not only as its rightful owner, but also as a companion to whom it can turn for guidance. A companion who senses its presence when no other can. Alright. Quite why that should be is a question which confounded me for some time. It was only after spending countless days poring over my notes that the answer came to me. In the efforts to predict the Anima's rate of growth, I realized that I had overlooked an important variable. You, my friend. Which is why I took the liberty of investigating you and your dealings in Eorzea. You are possessed of a rare power known to some as the Echo, are you not? Yes. I have read that it conveys a preternatural sensitivity to the psyches of others, and what is the Anima but a nascent psyche? Psyche, probably. What was the word, right? Yes. You're saying you've got to have a special power just to see the bloody thing? A special power is what only a handful of folks got. Well, that's just great, that is. Even if Desiree and her Echo sporting mates buy 10 weapons each, they ain't like to spend the sums Ravenna's got in mind, meaning the debts are set to go unpaid. Unless, of course, you've thought of a solution. As a matter of fact, I have. Unlike the quasi-souls of golems and other constructs, the Anima is unique in that it was created using the pure ethereal energies of astral and umbral nodules. As such, it bears no residual imprint of another psyche, and therefore possesses the potential for cognizance and growth. Having no reason or desire to grow, golems can typically subsist almost indefinitely on the energy of their initial ethereal infusion. The Anima, however, is quite different. Being in a state of constant development, it requires a constant supply of ether, and while it's capable of sustaining itself by drawing upon the naturally occurring ether in its immediate surroundings, I have theorized that the cause of its marked growth to this point is, in fact, its close proximity with you, Desiree. Your weapon serves as a conduit between you and the Anima, feeding it energy at a steady, albeit slow, pace. If you could somehow improve the weapon's conductivity, I'm certain it could promote faster growth, enhancing the Anima's ability to communicate. But that's not all. Should we improve the conductivity sufficiently, the resultant strengthening of a connection between Anima and wielder could, in theory, facilitate communication even in the absence of the Echo, felling two birds with but a single stone. Which is where you come in, Gerald. Do you think you can improve the ethereal conductivity of our Anima's lodgings? I can't bloody well say no now, can I? I reckon I should be able to get the ether flowing a bit freer between Desiree and the Anima, but it'll come at a cost. By improving the weapon's conductivity, it'll become extra sensitive to anyone touching it, and that includes me when I'm pounding on it with my hammer. My energies pouring into the Anima could muddle up whatever relations Desiree's already got with it. I mean, if a bloody thing was to take after me instead of old Desiree here. Yes, I will not deny that taking after men of your character could certainly prove problematic. But how would you go about preventing such contamination? Contamination? Cheeky little shite. Any animal would be lucky to take after me. Just not this one, on account of how it's Desiree's. Don't go worrying your pretty little head anyway, cause unlike you, I think my plan's through. It's a matter of making me tools impassable to ether, in case you're wondering. Luckily, I've done somewhat similar before. While I was working with another annoyingly scholarly type, we developed a little trick called soul glazing. That was during the ARR relic quest, yes. It's used to insulate weapons, but my tools shouldn't be no different. Cause I didn't actually make a soul glaze myself, but I got a fair idea what might stand in for it. According to a glowing ball I was working to, the Alagans used somewhat called ether oil in their metal workings, and they did pretty much the same job. It's sure to be rare, expensive, or a bit of both, but you've got experience with that sort of thing, don't you, lass? So run along and find us 5 pots of ether oil for me, hammer, and anvil. Will you? We're none of us getting any younger. I am, of course, grateful for you for identifying a solution. It's but a pity you did not think to ask this glowing ball of yours where to acquire it. Perhaps next time you could think your plans through a little more, yes? I apologize for this gross imposition, but I feel we must have that ether oil if we are to proceed. In the meantime, Gerald and I will continue researching how best to foster the Anima's development. Now, you can buy ether oil from Morena at 350 poetics tokens apiece. You need 5. An alternative solution is Gift of the Archmagus. This used to be a weekly quest, but now it's just permanently repeatable. It demands that you finish Labyrinth of the Ancients, Circus Tower, and World of Darkness, and for it you get Alagant Catalyst and ether oil. And I have ether oil already finished enough. And again, I need to unequip a weapon. We just had to work as soon as you return with the ether oil. It's 5 pots required, don't forget. Oh, and do remember to bring the weapon itself. We shall struggle to proceed without that. Well done, friend. While you are abroad, acquiring these, we saw to the rather less onerous task of our own preparations. In the process, we happened upon an archive with a particularly riveting selection of texts on a ferrochemical research that may well prove useful in the future. Alas, I was only able to steer a few cursory glances at their contents as Gerald was intent upon sneaking off to drown himself in ardent spirits. Would that he were as keen to immerse himself in his work. Pious little prig. A young'un like you wouldn't understand. It's me muse, me inspiration. All me best ideas come after drowning somewhat strong. Is that right? Then what a pity you abstained for as long as you did. Had you only been a little more inebriated, mayhap you would have devised a plan which didn't involve putting Desiree into such trouble. Shut your gob and coat me, Anvil, with that ether oil before I crack one of the pots over your head. There, applying the oil was much easier than I expected. How did you fare with your hammer? She's oiled up and ready for action. There's no telling how long the coating will last for. Time to get pounding. Please do be careful, Gerald. Desiree went to great lengths to procure that oil. I would not have her go to all that trouble again through any error on our part. I think you're forgetting who you're talking to, lad. My only error is making weapons what's too good for their owners. Present company accepted, of course. Besides, I downed a bottle of good stuff not long ago. Never felt better. Well, I'm glad to hear... Wait, did you say a bottle? A whole bottle? 7 hells, man, I cannot in good conscience allow you to work in your condition. Ah, don't be so daft. It went bad stuff. At least I don't think it was. I found it when you were reading all them ever comical what's-his-names. Anyway, there's only one way to find out how good it really was. It's hammering time. How is it possible? Such swift, precise movements? And his eyes. Never have I seen them so sharp. Is he quite certain it was alcohol he drank, and not some manner of invigorating tonic? This is not the drunkard I imagined when Rowena introduced us. Maybe we should keep another bottle on hand, in case he should be required to craft something else. I mean... There, a taste of my true talents. Next time I'll have you believe old Gerald when he tells you about the redeeming power of a stiff drink. Now then, Desiree, hold her up and see how she feels. Like an extension of your arm, I bet. What if we ever fly so free? A genuine, bona fide, bleeding masterpiece, fashioned for the realm's greatest adventurer by our greatest living blacksmith. Pair of hyperconductive Ragnar. Magnificent. Simply magnificent. You can almost feel your ethereal energies coursing through them. What effect do you suppose it will have on the anima? So warm. At last I feel myself. You would share your effort, the very essence of your being, to support me? Then I in turn shall do all that I can to support you, going wheresoever you go, even unto the farthest reaches of the realm, if, that is, you will take me as your companion. Gladly. Desiree, I take it the anima has spoken with you once again. Then, that was a comparatively lengthy exchange, was it not? Far longer certainly than the scant whispers you described before. This is progress, my friend. Tangible progress. Should our young charge continue to develop at this rate, it may not be long before Gerald and I can converse with it. At last, our goal of a free-thinking weapon is within reach. Impressed, are you? Well, the anima isn't just a start. Feast your eyes on this little beauty. While Desi was off looking for ether oil, I went for a little wander and this thing found me. I thought it. Anyway, seeing as there ain't much these elegant contraption can do, I gave it a recipe for making spirits. And let me tell you, the thing got a real knack for following instructions. With a bit of work, I reckon we could probably teach it how to make weapons that look like the Anima Weapon by the bleeding dozen. They won't be real Anima Weapons, cause on account of there being no spirit inside, but you can be sure they still sell. And seeing as how you helped me get here, I even let you have one half price. Can't say fairer than that, eh? Have you no decency? We did not come here to fashion trinkets. We came here to imbue weapons with life. Life that should be respected. Respect and life don't come into it. I came here to pay off my debts, remember? And if that means making a few trinkets, I bloody well make them. Like it or not, where there's muck, there's money, and I mean, to take it. Drinking may have served to steady your arm, but I see your moral compass remains as wayward as ever. Plainly, there are limits to even alcohol's miraculous powers. But let us set aside Gerald's scheming for the present. Today marks an important milestone of our collective journey, and in your journey especially, Desiree. The bond you share with the anima is stronger than ever. Teach it well, and one day soon the world will look upon the brilliance of our anima weapon and wonder. Your Anima Weapon is now hyperconductive, fortifying your bond with the spirit within. And Gerald's note is where? Over there. Where you can buy the replica weapons, so you can put those into the glamour dresser, so you can use the Anima's looks in later weapons. A dream fulfilled is the next one. Ardashir? I don't know either. Save your breath, lass. He's been sitting there brooding ever since he left. Surely, I said, surely if we just leave her be, swinging the weapon about as she pleases, the animal will grow on its own. True. Cause there's no satisfying him. I don't know what's still in that loaf of his, but I wish he'd pay a mind to stirring elsewhere. The boy could use a distraction. Else I could use a nice buxom distraction myself. For the last time, please do not speak of such things. Not everyone shares your deplorable appetites. Yeah, whatever. But what you say of the Anima Weapon is true. In its hyperconductive state, it is only a matter of time before the Anima shows new signs of growth. Yet, what sort of researcher would I be if I did not search for a way to hasten the process? Always so serious. So the little lord found a way to bugger us some more, eh? Indeed I have. But it would require a trip to Ardashir. My quest to find Charlie and researchers that bore no fruit, but I did meet with a young lady whose field of expertise is quite similar to mine own. Oh god, I remember this one. Her name is Ulan. She has a vast knowledge of arcane entities and specializes in the study of carbuncles. In fact, her research concerns the enhancement of these entities with crystals. While not quite as free-thinking as Desiree's Anima, they are of a similar nature. Perhaps enough for her work to be of use. When last we spoke, she sought an apprenticeship from a self-same Charlian researcher who refused me an audience. No doubt I have left her waiting in Ardashir even now. Come this way. Let us be off before she finds reason to conduct her research elsewhere. The quest, a dream fulfilled, cannot be abandoned via the journal. If you wish to abandon the quest, you may do so at any time by speaking with Ardashir. Okay, Ardashir. And up there is Ulan. And her moonstone carbuncle. What have we here? An admirer of the arcane? A connoisseur of carbuncles? I have none for sale, mind you, but I would be more than willing to tell you about... Ardashir, pray forgive me, madame, had I known you were an acquaintance of his, allow me to start anew. Desiree, was it? I am Ulan, researcher of all matters arcane. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. My luminous companion here is Diamond. Now, exactly how did you come to know of my dear Ardashir? It would appear I have come late. My apologies. I see you and Desiree have already met. She has been of invaluable assistance in my research on Anima. I see. Before you left Ardashir, you spoke of your preliminary proposal for the Charlians. I would very much like to hear how your work has progressed thus far. You wish to borrow my techniques for crystal absorption and apply them to your anima? An intriguing idea. Though there still remains one large obstacle. Arcane entities like Diamond here are comprised almost entirely of aether, which is why I believe that the ethereal energy of crystals can be harnessed to further their growth. This is the basis of my research. This can only be accomplished, however, using crystals with a combination of differing elemental aspects. All arcane beings are unique and thus require a balance of crystals tailored to their composition. Even the slightest error can disrupt their ethereal equilibrium, possibly destroying them in the process. It's rather delicate work. To undertake such a project on your own could take weeks, even months without intimate knowledge of my research. Unless, perhaps, we can help one another. Being a researcher yourself, I have no doubt you understand my work requires a great deal of documentation, supplies, and more importantly, test subjects. I might be persuaded to select your anima as a test subject, should you and your companion choose to assist me, or if you would rather spend weeks poring over my notes. No, I think that's more than fair. Then we are agreed. You will supply me with literature to supplement my research, and your assistant here can bring me supplies. Here's a list of what I require. It seems we have our work cut out for us, and I shall return as quickly as I'm able. Was time together with me truly such an unpleasant proposition? Now we're very... yes, supplies for my work. I will not burden you with all that I have listed here. Even one of these items would be a boon. In exchange, I will offer you crystal sand, a reagent of my own creation that should help facilitate the absorption of ethereal energies. The process will no doubt require a great deal of sand, but I will happily give all that you require. Be warned, however, you cannot haphazardly apply the sand as you please. I believe a demonstration would sooner explain my point. Would you be so kind as to call forth this anima of yours? My, what a splendid thing you are. You can see it? You seem surprised? Come now, Desiree, I've devoted my life to the study of arcane creatures of all sorts. As Ardashir explained it, the two of you have gone to great lengths to come this far. That I should be unable to see it would be far more surprising. Now come closer, little one. I have a gift for you. This woman means us harm. My body, it fades, we must flee. My apologies, I did not mean to frighten it, but I must say your anima is more perceptive than I supposed. As I said before, every arcane creature is unique and requires a certain balance of elements to absorb crystal sand. This sand, however, is at odds with its composition. Rather than waste time probing your anima to ascertain a proper balance of elements, I propose we treat the crystal sand with umbrite, stripping it of its elemental properties. This is by far the safest and quickest way to prepare the sand for consumption. As luck would have it, I found a merchant right here in Ardashir who sells it. Ismena, I believe is her name. A single stone and pouch of crystal sand is all we need to begin. Before I forget, you will need to have the anima vessel close at hand when offering up the crystal sand. You mustn't forget it. I suppose this will also be of use. For your purposes, let us call it an anima glass. It allows me to more closely observe the ethereal balance of my dear diamond. It should allow you to do the same for your anima. that should do for explanations. If you should have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask. When you have all we require, return to me and we shall make the anima grow as never before. When requesting Ulan's assistance in developing the anima, we must first speak with her while equipped with your hyperconductive anima weapon, and then select the foster anima growth. Blah blah. I'll show you that in a moment. And then you can choose attributes. Where is my weapon now? Down here. Now, to get crystal sand, we have a wonderful list of stuff. We have crafter and gatherer token from Ravena's script vendors. Extremely rare crafting materials. Pretty hard to make. Ember encased Violkin. You have a chance of getting those when doing Heavensward Relic quests in the wilderness and open treasure chests or something. There's a chance those are in there. Astral and Umbral expected materia no longer exist. You cannot use these anymore unless you played when they exist and you still have them lying around somewhere. Demi materia. Now, Battlecraft and Fieldcraft Demi materia, I think it's pretty expensive. Moonstones. You can get moonstones from some ARR crafting stuff. I think you can get it from leather quests. Also, the XIV stripe can give you some, but also 5. It takes a while. You can farm the X primals. You can get Superior Enchanted Ink and Tefnarian Mist, which you can both buy for, say, Poetics tokens. But you need Poetics tokens also for the Umbright. A Realm Reborn and Heavensward Raids. The Allagan Catalyst comes from the AR raids, and the Makai Farthing from the Heavensward ones. And Esoterica, yeah, we had that with the last time with the other things you can get first from Beast Stripes or also Ravenna. Well, this is definitely more expensive than this version here. But if you don't know what to do with your Beast Stripe tokens, have a time, you can get them. Anyway, now I need to farm some crystal sand. Alright, I prepared something, but we're not quite finished with it, but we should reach a halfway point. I have 14 right now crystals left, and I've already tweeted crystal sand, so... Yeah, exactly. At the midway point, we need to first spend all of it. So, let's put it all into critical hit. Just all of it. This doesn't matter, really. You know what? No. As I said, it doesn't really matter because this is no longer endgame. So, we will get better gear eventually. I feel I've changed somehow. I feel complete. Allocate. It would seem the anima has gone quite strong. Would you not agree, Arnott? That crystal sand no longer aligned to any one element could be so effective is unprecedented. The data we've collected should prove quite useful to your research. I wish to continue. Really? For your sake, and mine. That you should never want for strength in times of strife. I will become stronger. Are you really certain? An ambitious one, your Anima. That it should strive so fiercely to exceed its own limitations is quite remarkable. Not even Diamond Carbuncle demonstrated such tenacity. The bond between you two is one to be envied for certain. The documents you requested. As promised. Ah, Ardashir, your timing is impeccable. The crystal sand was as effective as we expected. However, it would seem your ethereal companion wishes to pursue greater strength, despite reaching what I have calculated to be the apex of its power. Doubtless, you are aware of the potential repercussions should we grant this request. So, what say you? Shall we cast caution to the wind and see what new heights the Anima can attain? But of course, if it is the Anima's wish, then who are we to deny it? Though, should we succeed, there's still the matter of its vessel. The weapon. I fear it will not bear the strain of any new powers the Anima will possess. I will consult with our smith to forge a new vessel, one better suited to the Anima's burgeoning strength. On your way. It would seem my stay here in Ardashir will be much more interesting than I anticipated. When you're ready to begin anew, you need but say the word. Yeah, and we'll spend the rest, and then we make another cut, because now we need to reach 240. You usually get 3 points for every crystal sand and umbrella you turn in, but there is a slight chance you get a bit more, like 4 or 5, but unlikely more than that. But I wouldn't bet on that. You might spare 1 crystal sand or umbrella from that, maybe 2, but that's the whole of it, maybe. I wouldn't expect much more. Anyway, another cut. Alright, I got enough. Foster the Anima's growth. Come a bit more direct hit. My body, it feels so heavy. My body, it aches. It is as Ardashir predicted. Its vessel can no longer bear the power that now courses through it. You must hurry back to him with the Anima. I will see to it he is apprised of the situation by the time you arrive. Should he need to examine the Anima more closely, give him the Anima glass. Right, I need another weapon to turn this one in. Desiree, thank goodness. We must act quickly. There's no telling how much longer the soulstone will last. I would have the Anima glass and the weapon serving as its vessel. The weapon? As as I feared, the Anima's vessel has reached its limits. We must remove a soul stone at once. The soul stone appears to be intact. Ready the new weapon, Gerald? The soul stone must be set before it begins to degrade. The Anima got a lot of spine for being once so small, I grant you that. This new weapon ought to make for a fine reward. It's done, lass. Hold her up and see how she feels. The pinnacle of craftsmanship and courtesy of yours truly, and the notes that taught me the ins and outs of Allagan technology. Pair of Sultan's fists. My body. It feels so light. What manner of arcane magic caused this? Gerald built you no body. A new vessel, designed by Ardashir and forged by Gerald? Thank you, both of you. Can it be? After years of research, of trials and failures, I can see the Anima. I can see the Anima. I can hear it speak. Oh, if only my master could be here to witness this. Desiree, Ardashir does not seem well. Perhaps he too requires a new vessel. Yes, something powerful, like your new weapon. Might we ask Gerald to build one? It would appear you have developed a sense of humor to match your new body. Unfortunately, my ethereal friend, we cannot exchange ours quite so easily. Though the weapon that houses your soulstone is indeed exquisite, I very much doubt Gerald would grant me anything quite so elegant. Oh, but look at me standing here talking to you. Never have I felt such joy. Joy? You must be tired after such a long day. Rest. You've earned it. This marks a monumental breakthrough in our work. Though it still appears to want for knowledge, our goal is all but realized. And I can think none better suited to teaching our young charge of the world and its wonders. Ah, you see to it your Anima doesn't turn into a sniveling little shite like his lordship here. One is plenty. I imagine an arrogant, pig-headed clod would be equally undesirable. As I said before, it has been a terribly long day, not only for the Anima, but for you as well. Rest easy, Desiree. I will do all in my power to determine our next course of action by the time you return. We've gone and done it now, lass. I know he's trying to keep his composure, but as soon as you leave, he'll be prancing around singing about the Anima. I wouldn't count on him being ready to work again anytime soon. At least you got nothing to worry about so long as the Anima is with you. Take good care of that weapon, you hear? Thanks, Gerald. The Anima has reached beyond its limits, the weapon housing its soulstone forged anew. No, the sword? Yeah, that only comes out when I actually use the weapon. Otherwise, it's just a glove. I like that.